Okay, welcome back to Baskets Galore. We're coming to the end of season 2.
Yeah.
Maybe only another couple of episodes, really.
Yeah.
So this is really a summary, an end of week summary. It's Friday the 4th of July.
Friday the 4th.
Happy Independence Day if you're watching this in the United States. For the rest of us, it's a typical Friday afternoon in the Northern Hemisphere in the summertime. So we're looking to wrap up season 2 of it's our little small business and our journey line through using AI over the last couple of years, the preparation for AI from 4 years ago, born out of COVID, really. So I've got Evelyn here with me, and we're just going to go through a quick summary, really, in terms of where we are with about a week to go in terms of the end of season. Our 5 objectives, how far along are we? Because we're going to end the season and hopefully we've got some major successes to tell you about. It is a very exciting time using AI because there's just so much going on. There's so much automation being applied from our formula, which were born out of our ability to scale certain things and see things to certain scales. So we're going to start off with objective number 1, which was at the Easter time when we started the season up again from last year. We wanted to create an image caption generator. We've been working on it over the course of the last couple of years and whatever, but where are we now in terms of, are we going to have an image caption generator created by this time next week?
Yeah, so we're really nearing the end now of our images, creating the actual human data, training data. I think we've got, about 1,000 to go, maybe slightly less than that. For our training data? Yeah,
we started off with over 1,000 JSONs, and we did go down we didn't go down a bad path, we went down a wrong path.
Yeah.
Which we learned from. And we realized there's a lot more work involved in this. And so we've set about tackling that as only an organization can do.
Yeah. And we've been hitting the goal of about 1,000 a week to really kind of speed ourselves up. We've all been working on it. So we've completed our 1,000 this week, we're done. And then we've got maybe, is it more in the range of about 700, 800 we've got left to do?
Yeah.
So we should have it done by Wednesday and then send that over to Callum. Callum can run his training data, run through that, and hopefully this time next week.
It has everybody checking it as well, because one of the things we learned earlier on was that if you create 1,200, people will make mistakes, and the programmer will end up dismissing 15% of that. So we're looking for a critical mass number of 6144, preferably 64. So we're actually captioning 665, 66. So that if there is any wastage, we will go through, we will check that, we will validate that, we will fix. But if there is some sort of wastage, it's in the low percentages of maybe 1%, 2%, rather than the 15% that would have been otherwise without checking.
So obviously we need the biggest amount of data we can kind of get our hands on to ensure that the data or the model and the image caption generator is going to be strong and give us the output that we desire after these hard-working captioning few months. We've
put a lot of work into it. The advantages of doing it ourselves is that our agents will be stronger, more robust, and we won't have to rely upon third-party agents, and it's much easier to be able to judge success whenever you've got control over the original base code formula.
You want to be self-sufficient. Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so that's good. Hopefully we end the season with it's working. That's what I'm moving towards. The second objective was to gather together the data, which is very unstructured. Video is, an image is straightforward, but video is like, it brings the complexity of length. So we were going through a stage of structuring our video to get 6,000 to 7,000 unstructured, 6,000 to 7,000 structured data sets. Okay.
Yeah.
We are at half of that, but the advantage being that we don't have to caption all of those videos.
Yeah.
We use the very thing that we've done for the images to use as the caption generator for the video, but we're adding two very important JSONs or two very important pieces of data. Should we tell people what those pieces of data are?
I think we should keep it under wraps for now. Keep it under wraps for now.
Okay, well, let's just say that it is, nobody's done it before.
Yeah.
It is moving radically away from what you would expect an e-commerce company to do. And it also brings in an element of humanity and how they see the thing, the video, the caption or whatever. There's something for the human rather than the bot, the agent.
And I think that the bots and the LLMs and the AI try very hard to mimic the humanity aspect of it, which by us putting this in, it kind of allows it to do it properly as a human rather than trying its best to be a human when it's not, if you know what I mean.
Well, I think what it does is that it guards us for a period of time to ensure that whatever is suggested to us is, we can see, is it pretending or is it actually giving us suggestions based upon our inherent code?
Yeah.
So it's going to be very difficult trying to like work out as things move on. Hey, did it think of this itself? Or is it a result
pulling
of
from us and our
pulling
data?
from us?
Yeah.
And so we obviously wanted to pull from us initially for the first 2 or 3 iterations, so that it isn't going off and getting lost, because this tends to be the case. If you look at the machine learning and you look at AI automation and whatever, the AI, it's done a numbers game, isn't it? Millions, millions, millions.
Yeah.
And it takes millions and millions and millions of iterations of it for it to do the basic simple thing. And we don't have time for that. And we don't have the energy to put into that. It wouldn't make sense. It would cost too much electricity. It would cost too many tokens. We have to make much bigger steps and not let it run away from us. I guess that's why we're doing it this way.
Yeah.
So that's number 2. I'd say that we will not have that objective completed.
That'll be another few months, that one. We need to see how
that'll be the end of the summer.
If our image caption generator is going well, and by this time next week we have it, I'd say we'll be on track for the end of summer.
End of summer,
to get that.
And you can see again a coordinated organizational attempt, the sheer power that goes through that, the sheer energy that goes through it. So we'll move on to our third objective, which was to manage to structure more and more. Although our content management and our blogs and our product descriptions were already very well structured as a result of being an e-commerce company, we wanted to structure those to a point whereby they were retrievable, really, weren't they? We wanted to get them to the point whereby you could run automation scripts through them and whatever. How far do you think you are with this, Ellen?
Yeah, with the BG Scribe. So BG Scribe is working very well in the sense of being able to create blogs, and that's what its initial first task was. We want you to create a blog. We want to be able to create website content, and it's working. It's doing that. So now the next step is to kind of integrate it in with the image caption generator and with our iCloud, so that the AI and our agents can make the blog, read the blog, fill the blog with pictures that are relevant and make sense to be there, caption the images, and then upload it onto the website. So instead of just writing the blog now, it's adding the images, it's adding the anchor links as well. It's adding in the tags and it's uploading them to the website.
Which is fantastic.
Yeah, like it creates a whole new perspective and a whole new way to do things whenever it's a task that doesn't need to be done by us anymore. It's just completely automated, and that's brilliant because nobody likes doing blogs. They take up too much time. They take me 3 hours to write one, an hour to put it up, an hour to take pictures or put pictures on it. It's just too time consuming.
And everybody I see faces that same problem. And so their blogs tend to be, how would I describe their blogs? Boring.
Monotonous.
They're very product focused. It's like, here's what's new. and they're going through the motions. And I've rebelled against that because I don't like it. I think there's quite enough commercialization and advertising and all that type of stuff going on. I don't really want more blogs which are, unless there's something demonstrably and significantly new, then what's the point of creating all of this buzz about it? There's only so much buzz you can create. I want our releases to be augmentative, developmental, insightful, and unusual, rather than just constantly parroting the same line, because you're creating an energy, and somebody has to take that energy in and reproduce it and whatever. I just find it a very inefficient use of the world's resources. So on that basis, the blogs that we are writing, we haven't even really, I would say, in terms of, if you look at our competition, these blogs that we are creating are interesting, but we're still not publicizing them.
No.
Because the reason being, they are for internal scribing as well. And until they're perfect, they're not going to go live, because it's going to cost lots and lots of tokens and automation and whatever.
And we don't want our scribe writers picking up blogs that we have written that aren't good enough and then feeding it back in. It's like closed loop. We can't be giving it stuff garbage in, garbage out again. We can't let it create something bad and tell it it's good and go ahead with it. It needs to learn.
So as we learn from it as well, we keep tweaking little elements of it, and I think this comes into the aspect of the notamation, whereby, okay, where are the insights? Where's your own learning and in terms of improving into it, so that it can develop itself, in its future iterations of the BG Scribe. So that's very interesting. I'd say content management has been a big development for us. It's probably morphed into being so much more than I dreamed happening. And I think that would be the same with you as well, from what started off.
Blogs, that's a big step, but we can also use it as a puzzle piece for the emails as well.
Yes.
Getting it to write emails in the newsletters, because at Christmas time, when we were wanting to send out multiple rounds of emails for 4 different sites, so it's basically you're writing about 30 emails every month, and it's too time consuming when Christmas is so busy.
Yeah.
So having it do this for us is, again, a game changer. It's so good, and it will help so much.
It's absolutely essential, really, because we just don't have enough time in the day to do everything that is required associative to our business. But at the same time, you do not wish to employ somebody else to do it, because they can't.
No.
With the best one in the world, they can't do it. They don't know your business. They can't engage with your customers the way that you can. They can't keep it real. You've got to be a master of these things and keep the marketing experts or whatever away from you. Fourth objective, landing pages. And by landing pages, we're talking here about we wanted to move from a website. We wanted more of a sort of a way for these agents to communicate better with the customer. Yeah. If you notice an awful lot of the things that we do, we're going to say, okay, well, where's the customer coming into this? Well, obviously the customer is going to derive a massive advantage, because they're going to see increasing value, lower prices. They're going to be more invested in the brand. There's going to be a higher return, higher loyalty. But the landing page was basically our way of doing, well, how do we make our, what you land on so much more fun than just the static catalog e-commerce company that you're used to, especially whenever we're not the only people competing for eyeballs. There are all of the old SEO companies that are becoming AI agencies, aren't they? So what were we going to bring that was substantially different, that was difficult to replicate, and that would come from our inner core? And that was the landing pages formula, which was the videos.
It's like an engaging kind of interface rather than just a website page. You're not landing, scrolling down. Everything's there that you need. Everything's there that you want. Giving the customer a full kind of overview of who we are, what we're doing, what products we have. Giving them a taste of our AI agents, with Michaela being on there. it's just an all-rounded page. It's very good,
Mm-hmm.
very good for engagement.
And it comes down to that scroll, you know, for businesses like us that have been around since the fold, you know, like in the olden days of desktops and stuff like that, whereby you had to be on the first before the fold, and everything has just become more and more technically difficult and demanding and whatever. So the objective now is to be on a mobile device, and when you go on to wherever it is, it's got to be, as you scroll down, you assimilate that data. You'll only scroll down 7 seconds at most.
You want to hit the bottom quite fast.
Yeah.
Leave it at that. There's nothing worse than scrolling down and you're keeping going.
And that's what you're trying to do. That's what the landing page was. It was a recognition of what humanity was asking for and trying to give it to them in as clear-coded mathematical format as possible through video and through music. You couldn't do it through text or images. It had to be that. So our landing pages, therefore, have to be video related for that depth. They just can't be a pretty picture, because a picture doesn't give enough depth. It has to be, the customer has to be able to go into that and engage with the video, and for there to be a concertina expression of, okay, a journey line, so to speak, and the customer has to see that is only going to use up 21 to 23 seconds of their time. It sounds crazy, but that is the reality of running an e-commerce business. The difference between it being successful and it not. So I would say landing pages are coded. I would say half of them are already completed, and it's a case of the deployment of them out. But like with many things, when you deploy something, deploy it all at one time rather than bit, because then it doesn't appear equal. And so that's where we're at. We've got 4 of them done now, and then there's another 4 which will come into it, and we'll probably learn from the first 4 so that there's no duplication with that. And that's the landing pages done for the main website. Objective number 5. The developing of the AI agents. And this is something that we really like. And if I could sort of get you on to starting to talk now about these AI agents, we have already developed, they're already there. We've already built them. And it's like one after another. We're not even bothering people with, okay, well, this sequential agent has taken this and taken it to that. That to me is just simplicity itself. We've already passed that point. What we're looking for is how the agents can relate or help us in non-functionary types of stuff, which is ancillary support, actually make us better within the organization itself. And if we do this, then the reason why this is so important is because we're already starting to see now, it's not just about, okay, agents, it's agent swarms. It's the robots coming. And unless your agent is really strong, the agent swarm just engulfs it. So with that in mind, can you talk a little bit about the importance of strong AI agent building and what that means to you? Because lots of people are at the stage whereby they're going, okay, an agent is basically hook up an LLM to a short form memory and a couple of spreadsheets. There you go, job done.
Yeah, well, I think strong agents, you need to code into them guidelines, ring fences or guard fences, and keep them within where you want them to be in your company. I think if you give them free rein, what's the point in even doing it in the first place? You could have just used ChatGPT. You need to, like BG Scribe, same kind of things going on. You need to give it parameters. You need to keep it in a closed loop. I think the same with our agents that we're making. You need to only give them what you want them to see. You can't just let them scrape everywhere. You need to make them for your company, not for everyone. You need to create a first kind of draft one of just you, and then if it works, okay, go on, make one for everyone. But you need to, it's ring fencing I think is the most important part.
I think that's very interesting. We have come at this very differently to conventional thought. But the more I read into it, the more I see, the more I experience, I go, I think we're on the right lines with this. And if you remember, we were over at the AI summit there, and there was one of the professors there, was it Neil Lawrence or whatever from Cambridge, and he drew out the diagram of AI and the agents and whatever, and we were going, we've done that. Mm-hmm. That's exactly what we've done.
Yeah.
And we can swap out the LLMs, whether it be Gemini, ChatGPT, Claude, we can swap those all out and apply whichever one is the best one for the purpose of which we're aiming to get done. Safe in the knowledge that our database, our core knowledge database, is all sliced, organized, and tidied up and whatever.
And it makes sense as well, because obviously, if you think of it in the way of, we have a position to fill at the company, mm-hmm. and we have a line of people, you're gonna try who fits in better. You're not just gonna use the same person for everything. Everyone has different skills. Everyone's better at different things. Mm-hmm. So it applies the same as LLMs.
Yeah,
it's everything. I really do think that everything about AI boils down to a human concept. It all matches up. It's like, if you just think of things as AI and robots and technology, mm-hmm. okay, you'll get so far. But you need to kind of see where it fits in with the humans and the human mind and how humans get on to really be able to use it to its best advantage.
Yeah, I would agree completely with that. So I think we'll wrap it up here. I think we've got our 5 objectives. I think we've achieved an awful lot. I would like to get it. I have a deadline. That deadline is next Friday, mid-July or whatever. I would like to get the image caption generator signed off. It's a huge piece of work, because that ability to automate everything thereafter means that in season 3, which is coming at the end of July, the journey line moves from more this type of a discussion. Yes, these discussions will go on, but the idea of showing the application, what we've been talking about, and here it is in operation. Here it is working. Here's what happens when you do this. And I think that will blow people's minds away in terms of if they have a small business, because there's plenty of time, I still think, to bring all that into your small business. And you want to do it in your small business. You do not want to be using experts or other people, because exactly what you said there, it's bringing your knowledge, your expertise, your context, and understanding what makes people. You're going to want to bring this into your organization in much the same way it's come into our organization, hasn't it?
Definitely.
Yeah. So I think you've still got there's still plenty of time to do it. Well, not plenty of time, but you can start that process now, because your expertise and your knowledge base will be such whereby you can cut and splice it whatever way you want in order to create the agents you want and the buy-in from your organization that you require. Last notes from you then?
Last notes.
Are you excited about what you're doing?
Yeah, it's brilliant. It's exciting creating the AI agents and seeing what they can do and actually implementing them and seeing the difference it makes in workflows and within companies and stuff, especially obviously Basket Schooler. Yeah. So just seeing, we're kind of at the start of it. Mm-hmm. So just to see where it goes. Yeah.
Thank you.